I don't really know what comes next. I'm just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can and I won't. That's what guides me the most. Your lies, I'll do what I want. By thirst.
Help wanted signs are out everywhere in the NFL this week. If you have it, there's a Keith along with his cat. Help wanted signs are out. If you have a New York Jets jersey and your number is below 20, come to practice. Bring a football, bring a positive attitude. Help wanted sign out in Cleveland. Last night, tragic injury to Nick Chubb, running back. It looks like it's season ending. That's what the coach said. If you got a Cleveland Browns jersey and your number is below 50, come to practice. Bring a football. Bring your insurance papers. And if you have an Alabama jersey below the number 20, definitely show up and practice there. They're really looking for a quarterback. Hello, everybody. This is APBA Brian and friends, bringing to you week 3 of the NFL and week 4 of the NCAA colleges at the end of the show. Along with me are Keith White, Rob Kinsler, Harris, and we will later be joined by my son-in-law, Dan Mattingly. How's everything going, guys?
Pretty good.
So far, so good.
And you have to let us know how bad we did last week, because I didn't.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Dan Mattingly went 13-3 during straight up picks. He's 21-11 overall. We had a 12-10 was 12-4. And we had 2 11-5s. That was myself. And I have some friends that mail me their picks every week. Bruins fan was 11-5. Rob, you were 10-6 and 8-1 with the colleges. So everybody had a good day last week. Nobody really bit the dust. Had a couple tough week ones, but everybody had a good week last week. Let's get right to it. First game is the New York Giants at the San Francisco 49ers. I've got some vintage cards with us today. By Tittle, the old-time New York Giants quarterback, and John Brody, who led the league in passing 3 times in the 60s, also 1970, for the Giants. Keith, who do you got in this game?
Well, this would clearly be one of those biggest upsets of the year so far if the Giants were to pull off a win here, but I don't have the courage to do it. I'm going with the 49ers in this one.
Rob?
49ers are 2-0, both on the road. This is their home opener.
Yeah.
It's Thursday night. We know how bad the Giants can play. We see how good they can play. They're not going to play closer to the good side here. They're going to be closer to the bad side. 20-point win. I got 33-13. I like the 49ers running away with us.
Harris?
I agree with what you said, Rob, except I don't see the 49ers being scored on this week. 49ers are going to shut them out.
One of the elite defenses in the league. Speaking of being shut out, the New York Giants were shut out for the first 3 quarters of their season, or their first 3 halves of their season, 60-0. And then Daniel Jones went off in the second half. He went 13 for 15 for about 2,500 yards, and pretty much played the best half probably of his life, Daniel Jones. But I'm with you guys. I got to go with San Francisco. Next game, we're going to be joined in the next game by Houston Oilers' Billy White Shoes Johnson. And I couldn't help but think about Miriam Motley last week when the Browns were in their throwback uniforms from the late 40s, early 50s. So, Rob, Tennessee Titans at the Cleveland Browns.
Man, I'll tell you what. Tennessee came out exactly the way I thought they would against the Chargers this past week. The Chargers have a better offense, I think, than Cleveland does, and Cleveland's got some injuries right now. You know what? I look at it. I think Titans can run the football on this team. I think they're going to win the ball game, 21-20. Titans. I think they will keep rolling.
Harris?
Once again, I agree. And the only thing that can keep Cleveland in this game is if they can run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. Give me Tennessee, though.
I'm kind of liking Tennessee. Tannehill last week had one of his better days ever. You know, we're wondering when they're going to look at Lutz. I don't think they really need to look at Malik Willis a whole lot more, although he gives them a different angle or a different offensive approach. But Tannehill was 20 for 24 with 241 yards and a rushing touchdown. Cleveland, Deshaun Watson looks like he's never going to get it back together. He struggled with, his attitude's not there. He had two personal fouls, grabbed two face masks, shoved the referee. He was lucky he was not thrown out of the game.
Yeah.
Decisions weren't very good. Now Cleveland's gotten slightly thin at running back. So I would thought by now they would have contacted either Kareem Hunt or maybe worked out a trade for Jonathan Taylor. I think the Chiefs are talking to them about CEH. But I'm with you guys, Tennessee. Keith?
Yeah, looking at this one, I was never real excited about the acquisition of Watson for the Browns. That losing their number one running back as well. I just think Tennessee is more disciplined. They're not going to turn the ball over probably as much as Cleveland. I was watching Henry run some this past weekend. The guy's running hard. He's breaking tackles. He looks like he's not the old guy that some running backs become after a couple of physical years. He looks like he's still got something. And yeah, Tannehill's steady. I thought they've got a good coach. Not that Cleveland doesn't, but I think Tennessee's just not going to let a game like this slip away. They got two more going for them right now than Cleveland does. So Tennessee pulls it out.
Okay, we all agree for Tennessee. Next game is the Atlanta Falcons at the Detroit Lions. And I don't have a Falcons vintage guy, but I do have Night Train Lane and Bobby Lane, former quarterbacks of the Detroit Lions. Harris, you're first.
Well, the nice thing about this game is we're not going to have players cramping up out in the heat.
There you go, Terrence Mathis.
All right. Both teams are dome teams. You get them out in that heat, as hot as it's been everywhere around the country, players are going down cramping up. This game, you shouldn't have that with the climate control in the stadium. All right. That being said, Detroit, I expected a lot more out of them last week. This is going to be a true test for them if they can bounce back. I will go with Detroit.
All right, Kim, the first week was a true test for Detroit, and they passed in flying colors. They won that game. I think they're going to bounce back as well, but I'm not ready to sell the Atlanta Falcons short yet. Bijan Robinson, their draft pick, had 170 scrimmage yards last week. He is outstanding. They got two great running backs, him and Algiers. Well, I heard you talking about their offensive line, but they're only giving up 2.5 sacks a game, plus they're rushing for almost 5 yards a game. That is actually a pretty good offensive line, led by Chris Lindstrom, offensive guard. So I like the Falcons, but I happen to like the Detroit Lions more, even though they don't have, I think Montgomery's hurt. So we're going to see two rookies, Jamar Gibbs against Bijan Robinson. That's going to be interesting. I'm picking the Lions. Keith?
I think the Falcons are good enough to win this game. I think the Lions, though, will put if they don't get out to a great start in the first quarter, I still think that they'll catch fire somewhere in the second or third quarter and go on a little bit of a run with points and find a way to beat the Falcons. It might not be pretty, but I think they'll find a way to do it.
Rob?
I'm with Harris on this one. This is a make or break type situation for Goff. That whole offense. I think it's tailor made for him right here. I thought it was this past weekend. This is tailor made for him right here. They are going up against not the greatest linebacking set, and the whole back seven of Atlanta, I think, can be thrown on. Anything less than a 20-point win here, I think, is not good enough for the Lions. 34-13, I think they actually can beat them down this week. Lions big.
All right, we were all on the Detroit Lions. Next game is the New Orleans Saints on a short week against the Green Bay Packers. Bart Starr and Vince Lombardi's team. Let's see, am I first this time?
Yep.
I think I am.
Me?
Oh, it's me.
Brian.
Okay.
Jamal Williams is only running. He came from Detroit to New Orleans, and he's only running 2.5 yards per carry. He's not really off to a good start, and they still have one more week without Alvin Kamara. New Orleans on offense looked a little sluggish. Chris Olave, I think, is a fine receiver. And their defensive secondary is outstanding for New Orleans. I mean, they had a huge night last night. But Packers are too strong. I don't know if Aaron Jones will be back or Christian Watson, but they still have an offensive line. They still have a better defense. I'm going with Green Bay. Keith?
Yeah, I think Olave, if I remember right, he made a highlight catch last night where he kind of tipped it and he
And a couple of them.
laid out for it. Yeah.
That's the one right there.
Yeah. I'm still not really a believer in the Saints this year, and traveling up north to Green Bay. Packers probably going to have a lot of games like they've had so far. You know, the especially like this one last week, ones that can go either way. I kind of think I don't think they'll beat the Saints by a lot, but I think they'll pull it out.
Rob?
Yeah. Jordan Love, 2 steady games so far. He has not played bad. They're at home, outside. If this was in a dome, I would think twice about it. Probably would take a Saints. I think a pack is worth at least a touchdown difference being at home. 21-17. I like a pack to win this one late.
Harris?
Derek Carr is the complete difference in this game. Okay, if it was Olave or somebody like that, I'd be all over it. But Derek Carr is horrible, downright horrible. Love's going to show he belongs in the league this week. Give me the Packers.
Green Bay. Once again, we are all in agreement. Next game is the Denver Broncos at the high-flying Miami Dolphins. Floyd Little and Bob Greasy. Keith?
I'm not going to say the Broncos are high-flying. About the only high-flying they had was that Hail Mary at the end of the game against Washington. Well, they were up 21-3, and then they let that game get away. And, I mean, it's kind of getting dominated there at the second half of the game. So they're not coming off of playing good football really going into this one. And you're going all the way east, down in Florida, down in the heat. And Miami's just looking really, really tough to beat right now anyway. So the Dolphins will probably win this one by double figures.
Ron?
Everything you said, yeah. They're playing in the heat. They're playing a better offense, that's for sure. And this team is not going to go down 21-3 to this team. Now it's Russell Wilson watch. I'm with you. I think by Halloween he's going to be on the bench. That's my pick. 0-3 Denver, 29-17 Miami.
Harris?
I was going to say I give him the halftime before he's on the bench. I mean, he's the downfall of this team right now. He has no leadership in the locker room. As a quarterback, you've got to be the general. These guys don't listen to anything he says. They're doing what they want. Tua has the locker room for the Dolphins. I'm going to stay on the Dolphins.
Brian, I hope you repeat what you said before the show tonight about Wilson and the
Yeah, Russell Wilson, today, Sean Payton is moving on Russell Wilson. He said he's going to make the play calling easier, cut down the verbiage. Maybe he'll have to go back to wearing a wristband like he did last year.
Maybe he won't make him watch any more video.
Sean Payton's already kind of getting on Russell Wilson's case. We might be seeing Stidham at some point pretty soon. Denver, they also don't have enough on the offensive line. It's not just Russell Wilson. A lot of pressure on Sean Payton. He's 0-2. He doesn't want to go 0-3. The Dolphins, Tua is unbelievable. Waddle, Tyreek Hill. Oh, this linebacker. Anybody notice Andrew Van Ginkel? He's the backup linebacker that had to play last night in place of Jalen Phillips. He had an outstanding night. He had some key plays. He's got long blonde hair. He's a little bit undersized to play linebacker defensive end, but he was playing out of his mind, number 45. I'm picking the Miami Dolphins. All right, next game is an interesting game. It's going to be pretty sure it's going to go over the total and be high scoring. Justin Herbert against Kirk Cousins. Chargers at Vikings. And I've got Lance Allworth, Bambi, for the Chargers, and Fran Tarkenton visiting us from the Vikings. Keith?
I think it's Rob's turn this time.
Rob, sorry.
Give it to me. Herbert. What more is there to say? He gets his coach fired next week. First one to go, Chargers coach gets fired. 28-27. Minnesota pulls it off at the end, and they'll go in 3 Chargers.
Harris?
My question to you, Rob, do you think they fire him after this game, or do they wait till week 5 when they have the bye?
Week
They
6.
go get rid of him now, and they go get somebody in there at least to try it as an interim for a week.
They got that Dallas offensive
They got to
coordinator.
get somebody else in there. I agree with you. I got the Chargers winning this one, and the Vikings winning this one. It's going to be ugly.
The Chargers, they have more ways to blow double-digit leads. And yes, I do agree that Brendan Staley is on watch. We could have talked about help on its sign out there. I'm pretty sure when the Chargers are 1-5, they still got to play the Chiefs. They still got to play, I think, Dallas.
Yeah.
Before week 6. They're going to be 1-5 if they don't win this game this week. They got Las Vegas. They should beat Las Vegas. But at 1-5, I think that's going to be – Staley is already under pressure. He had this whining press conference. It was either yesterday or today. And it was like, man, if it was on SNL, they could have had like torrents of water, like he's sweating if he was on SNL. That's how much pressure that guy's under. And he's a defensive coach. And it's not like the Chargers have not spent money on defense. They got some players on defense. They have spent some money there. They should be playing defense, but they're not. And like you say, they've got a guy in-house with Kellen Moore who might be the next logical choice right there. If anybody can blow a double-digit lead, it's also the Minnesota Vikings. And I kind of think that karma is catching up with the Vikings. Last year, they were 11-0, one-score games. This year, they're not winning those games. So I think karma is kind of catching up. But I don't think karma is going to win this week. I think Minnesota is going to beat Chargers. Keith?
Okay. I'm going to be the idiot here. I'm going to go all by myself, and I'm going to say the Chargers are going to win this. And the reason main reason is I don't think much of the Vikings this year, but I look at Minnesota doesn't have a running game. They only have like 60-something yards rushing out of their top rusher, I think, this year after 2 games. And that's that little short guy out of Boise State, Madison or something. I think he's only got like 63 yards. They only tried to run the ball 9 times last week in Philadelphia. They don't have an Austin Eckler or anything to rely on. I think the Chargers actually win this game
Is
by
Eckler out
more
again?
than a touchdown.
Is Eckler out this week coming up?
I don't know. I still take the Chargers to win by over a touchdown.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm not sure Eckler's playing this week. So.
He might not be, but I still like their weapons more than I like what the.
TriFan 10 gave me a specs.
They better hope the Vikings better hope he's not playing, because if he is, they don't have a chance.
Yeah. Tim also is with the Chargers, but the rest of us are on Minnesota.
This is questionable.
Next game is New England at the Jets. And I didn't have a vintage card for New England, but I've got one for the Jets. Joe Namath.
Okay. You didn't have a Steve Grogan or a Jim Plunkett from back in
I
the
did
day?
not. Yeah.
Yeah, some of Brady's would be vintage now.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, Harris.
The Jets need to find a quarterback and fast.
Mhm.
They don't have a running game to depend on. New England's going to run up and down the field on these guys. This week is probably going to be one of the most boring weeks in the NFL that you're ever going to see. I see nothing but blowout after blowout after blowout this week. Give me the Patriots.
Okay, got you down for the Patriots. Rob?
Your turn?
Oh, my turn. Yeah. The New England Patriots are kind of becoming a dink and dunk offense under Bill O'Brien. They throw a lot of short passes, a lot of runs. I think they're trying to be balanced, and I would too. They hope to win. They hope to win on defense in the red zone. Kind of if they give up a lot of yards, they know the field tightens in the red zone. So against Miami, they played 3 deep safeties. They may not do that again. There's still Garrett Wilson there. I think they're going to focus on really rushing the quarterback, because Grant, the quarterback, Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson's the lowest rated quarterback in the NFL when he's under pressure. He's okay, and actually he's good when he's not under pressure. But you put pressure on him, and the Jets' offensive line can't stop that pressure. So, yeah, I was going back and forth in this game. But I actually think the New York Jets are going to upset the Patriots. I think the Jets are going to win this.
Okay.
Did we do Keith?
I think if the Jets had most of the other quarterbacks in the NFL right now, they'd probably be good enough to win this game, because their defense is pretty solid. Zach Wilson, just to me, doesn't look like he's got the confidence to go out there and beat much of anybody. And maybe they ought to just go out and get some real fast running type quarterbacks, get 2 or 3 of them, because they're going to get hurt, and just use speed and a lot of other little gadget plays just to try to get some yards and get some quick scores. And then, make sure at least they can have somebody with a strong arm that, maybe he's not the most accurate guy, but can at least heave a ball down the field. Wilson, I just don't think has enough options available to him out here to keep them competitive. And the Patriots, it's not going to be pretty in any game for the Patriots this year unless they're playing one of the real dumpster fires in the league. But they'll find a way with Belichick. They did do a fairly good job of keeping the big play away from the Dolphins, at least for most of that game Sunday night. And I mean, if they can at least keep that offense a little under wraps part of the game, they're not going to have any trouble with the Jets.
I forgot to say one thing. After the game last week, Breece Hall posted a Twitter post with 4 footballs because he only got 4 carries. So I got to believe coming into this week, Breece Hall is going to be a focus for the Jets. Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. Rob?
Yeah, I mean, where's the Jets going to get their points from other than defense? Field goal kicks, field goals. I don't think you get in the end zone this week. New England is not lighting the world on fire, but Jones is actually not playing bad. If you go back and look at his first 2 games, he's not played bad. He hasn't lost the games for them. They've just got outplayed. They've played, a really good offense, 2 good offenses, and Jets is not that. the Jets just are not there. Very low scoring game, 17-12. I like I like the Patriots in this ball game to win.
Harris?
Harris already.
I already took New England.
Yeah, he already went. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm on the limb on this one. I'm the only one picking the
You went out by yourself on that. Yep.
All right, Buffalo at the Commanders. And if you remember George Allen and Sonny Jurgensen.
Yep.
Dan, who, by the way, just texted us and said that he was asked to stay and help at football practice, which is they ask him to do that sometimes. So he's not going to be with us tonight. But he told me one time that Sonny Jurgensen played a lot when he was in Washington. He used to like to play a lot of pickup basketball.
Yeah.
And his dad said he was a terrific basketball player as well. He was a great quarterback.
Yeah.
Who's first?
You.
Keith.
All right.
No, let's see. Yeah, it is you. It is you, Brian.
Yeah, I had that last game first.
Yeah. All right, so the Buffalo Bills, I said last week that Jared Allen was going to behave.
Josh
Allen was going to behave. I got Jared Allen in my mind because he was a great defensive end for the Chiefs for a long time.
Right.
And Josh Allen did behave. And he'll do that for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks before he goes off the reservation again and starts playing hero ball. So I think he's got another good week in him, and I'm counting on that. James Cook, 17 for 123 yards. He's filling in nicely, better than Singletary they had last year at running back. The Commanders, they threw that Hail Mary pass. Knock it down. You throw a ball to the end zone, don't knock it up in the air. That's the very last thing to do. Yeah. And that ended up biting them. Logan Thomas will be out with a concussion, as far as I know, unless he's past a protocol. But I'm picking Buffalo. Keith?
I'm going to take Buffalo because Washington, if they get off to a slow start again this week, it's going to be over in a hurry. They're not going to come back against Buffalo like they did against Denver. And also, even if Washington is in this game and they play pretty close, I don't trust them to hold the lead late if they happen to have it. I think that somehow they'll allow the Bills to go down and get the winning points. So best case scenario, Washington kind of keeps it close, but I kind of have a feeling Buffalo will win by somewhere between 10 and 14 points this week.
Rob?
Wow, you know what? I don't see that. I actually see Washington holding the lead majority of this game. I think they're going to have their chance to win. And like you say, I think the last couple minutes they're going to blow it with a field goal. Look, I think Washington's a better defense here. But right now, the way both quarterbacks playing, I'd rather have Howell. Allen is just so far out there. I just
don't trust the coaching, no.
Now, I don't trust the coach. 24-23 Buffalo squeaks it out. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. But I think Buffalo wins. Yep.
Harris?
Washington right now has played 5 games if you count the 3 preseason games. They have won all 5 of those games by 4 points or less. All right, so their defense is keeping them in ball games. And like Rob said, they've got the better defense. Okay? Question becomes, what Allen are we going to see? Which one? Will it work? I'm going to take Buffalo.
I would have picked it to be a bigger spread if they were playing in Buffalo, but playing in Washington.
I still have my doubts about the Washington offensive line. I'm a little worried about that unit right now.
Well, I like Andrew Wiley, the right tackle you got. I like him. He is one of the best run blockers in the league. Yeah. There was a video when the Chiefs, he was with the Chiefs last year, and then when George Karlaftis showed up, the very first time they hit in practice in preseason, they put Karlaftis up against Wiley, and Wiley just gave him an introduction to the NFL and drove him back about 5 yards. Next game is the Houston Texans at Jacksonville. And I do not have
I go first on this one.
Becky for either one of those.
All right. Well, I mean, you got to give props to Stroud for the numbers he put up this week. Jacksonville had some troubles with their offense this last weekend against Kansas City. That's a tough opponent. I don't see Stroud lighting up the Jaguars like they did the Colts. I think it could stay kind of close for a while. I think the Jaguars are going to find a way to win the game, probably by less than a touchdown, but they'll find a way to win the game.
Rob?
Where in the world is Will Anderson Jr.? We hadn't seen him yet. I don't know what's going on there. I don't think he's hurt. But boy, oh boy, man, Houston can just hide really good superstar defensive players. I don't know what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they just, to me, they can make any player look bad if they want them to. Jacksonville, double digits, 34-24. They're going to win.
Harris?
Houston traveling again. I don't see no way. Looking at, Lawrence is going to be a difference in this game. Give me Jacksonville.
I tell you one thing, I would look for Houston to be smarter than Jacksonville in one area. Jacksonville should have made the Chiefs wear their red jerseys. It was over 100 degrees on the field last week, and the Chiefs showed up in their white jerseys, and Jacksonville wore their teal jerseys. They should have made the Chiefs wear their red.
They wore teal everything.
Yeah, and this week coming, they should make Houston wear black. You know?
Yeah.
We'll see if they learn their lesson. Nico Collins, I said before the year that I thought he would have a breakout season, and he has got 13 catches for 226 yards. They need a wide receiver. The problem with Houston right now is they have injuries on the offensive line. Their stud left tackle, Jeremy Tunsil's out, and I think there's another guy or two out too. So Stroud's basically running for his life. But actually, I think he's playing better than Bryce Young. I don't think he's playing better than Richardson, but Stroud is at 64% for 626 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. I'm picking Jacksonville in this game.
Oh, well, Jacksonville is wearing their white this week.
Oh, they've learned.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also on the Bears game in Miami, the Bears, rather than wear their dark blue jerseys, they wore the orange jerseys.
Orange.
Yeah. Next game is Indianapolis at the Baltimore Ravens. Johnny Unitas, Baltimore favorite. Colts favorite. I think Rob's first.
Yeah. I liked Indy last week. I don't like them this week, man. Oh, man. They're going to Baltimore. 3's a while this week. Niners are going to be 3-0. Miami is going to be 3-0. And Baltimore is going to be 3-0. It's going to be a mauling. 30-17 Baltimore.
Harris?
The difference in this game is going to be Captain Jim Harbaugh. Him and his stupid decisions. He will blow this game for the Ravens in a close game late, may even go overtime. I'm going to take the Colts in the upset.
Did you mean Jim or John?
John. Both of them, really.
Well, I didn't know if Jim was going to be on the sideline as a guest or
Might as well be. Michigan's running better without him.
Well, I think what we said,
But
I think the Indianapolis Colts are already getting the most out of their rookie quarterback amongst the rookie quarterbacks. He's throwing for a good throwing percentage, but he had a first quarter concussion.
Yeah.
And they had to walk him off the field. I think he is questionable for this week. But if he can't play, they got Gardner Minshew.
They got him up doubtful right now.
They got what?
He's up doubt. He's up
doubtful. So
Yeah,
we'll be seeing Minshew. Surprisingly, Indianapolis has a top 10 offense thus far. And running back Zach Moss has kind of played pretty well. He's got 88 yards, 4.9 average. But they're playing the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm not sure I'd pick anybody against the Ravens right now. They're a tough physical football team who are now throwing the ball very well with Lamar Jackson. Beckham's questionable, but Zay Flowers and their tight end are pretty good. Flowers has got 13 catches for 140 yards. Defense has 6 sacks already and 7 tackles for loss. They have to rely on running back Gus Edwards because they don't have J.K. Dobbins anymore, but I'm picking Baltimore. Keith?
Yeah, I like Baltimore. I mean, I keep trying to think of a way to explain a Colts possible win in this one. And they'd have to the Ravens would have to come out and play really sloppy in the first half, let the Colts kind of get a feel for, get a lead, something to try to sustain. I just think Baltimore's a little bit too good. Probably being a physical team. The Colts, they were one of the teams that I kind of really looked at as being one of the bottom dwellers in the AFC this year. They've kind of pleasantly surprised me in the way they've showed up at games, but they still have to show me a little bit more before I start picking them in games like this. I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Just a quick FYI on Baltimore. Lamar Jackson is questionable.
I'll still take him.
Yeah, if he doesn't play, I'd like Minshew.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to change my pick. Well, how questionable is that, do you think? Is it ankle?
That's what I'm trying to find.
I think it's.
I thought it was a knee. I thought it was a knee, not ankle.
I know it was a leg. I'll be honest.
I thought he hit a knee to knee when it was running the ball one time.
Well, they've got Josh Johnson as a backup, and then Tyler Huntley's the guy that's been backing him up the last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't play too bad.
I'll stay with my original pick. We'll stay Baltimore. All right, next game is Carolina at Seattle. No vintage for Carolina, but we got Steve Largent, receiver for Seattle, and Jim Zorn, who I saw get sacked 7 times by Derek Thomas in a game one time at Arrowhead.
That was Dave Craig, wasn't it?
Oh, was that Craig already?
I think
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Craig, you're right.
Yeah,
Zorn was before Craig.
Yeah. Whose turn?
Okay, Harris, I think you're first.
Well, we got Carolina, Seattle.
Yeah.
Both of them are coming in 1-1 here, aren't they?
Yes.
No, Carolina's over 2.
Okay, makes it even easier then. Okay, Carolina's going all the way out to Seattle at that Pacific West. They might as well save their money and stay home. Seattle.
Yeah, it's a short week for Carolina. They got a lot of things going against them. I didn't know about their field goal kicker until Monday night. Eddie Pinheiro, 20 consecutive field goals and 6 for 6 beyond 50 yards. Bryce Young, I think, is still struggling. He makes good decisions, but he needs to learn the speed. He's almost too poised out there. Like the fumble he got where he got sacked from behind. He had no idea that guy was coming up on him so fast. This is not Alabama anymore. It's faster in the NFL. Seattle. Seattle's going to get the SB for best sound coming out of their games. I don't know if you heard the clip with the referee threw a flag on Geno Smith for grounding the football. He had his mic on, and Geno Smith comes up to him, and he's arguing with the referee, and the referee says, "I'm talking to America." So if they're going to give it ESPYs for game sound after last week and this week, I think Geno Smith has got it in the bag. I think Geno's doing fine. Smith and Jigma is playing. He's getting worked in little by little here. He's got Metcalf. He's got Lockett. They won their game in overtime with this touchdown pass in overtime to edge the Lions in Detroit. I am going to pick Seattle. Keith?
Yeah, I don't see the 12th man failing a second time this soon in the season. Panthers going way out there to the West Coast. And somebody around in our community has this idea that if an Eastern team goes west, it's not good for the team traveling west. So I'll go with Seattle.
Rob?
Well, yeah, and Carolina, when they travel anyway, ain't gonna be good for them this year. Not with that offensive line. They're not playing real good. And Bryce Young's really not. He's got to progress. He's just his third professional game. Seattle is not going to come in there and hold his hand and let him play hopscotch there. Now, 24-19, Seattle wins. I think Carolina gives a good showing, but Seattle wins the ball game.
Okay.
Harris, did you pick this one already?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you picked everybody's on Seattle.
Yeah, Harris went first.
Okay.
Yeah, remember about Carolina going to the Pacific Northwest?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at Brian. He gets to go first with this one. Boy, oh boy.
That was a setup there. You know that.
Lenny Dawson, and Dale Sayers.
Smiling ear to ear. Yeah.
Not really. I'm worried about the Chiefs. We cannot win a Super Bowl with these two tackles. Aaron Taylor, the NFL made an example out of Aaron Taylor last week. They called two illegally lining up penalties, two holding penalties, or one holding penalty, a couple of false starts. So they're making an example of him. He played exactly the same way for 4 years with Jacksonville. Now he comes to Kansas City, and the broadcasters note it, and now they're all over it.
Yep.
So he's going to have to learn how to play the position differently. And then I'm not confident in Donovan Smith either. Smith had a great preseason, and he's a veteran. He knows how to play his position, but by the end of the fourth quarter, he's toast, and he starts holding again. There was one or two more holding penalties. And holding from an offensive lineman, I think, is more devastating than a sack of a quarterback. It doesn't get your quarterback killed, but holding is 15 yards, whereas a sack is like 5 yards.
10 yards.
Yeah. Oh, 10 yards?
10.
Okay. So, but still, I think it's twice as tough as a sack for that immediate drive. Now, Mahomes is struggling with our new receivers. He did hit 11 different guys, 12 if you count the tackle.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when he threw to Donovan Smith, he looked at Mahomes like, what am I supposed to do with this?
That was the best ball he threw all day.
Well, Mahomes was fine. He threw for 301 yards. He had a good day. It was good to get Travis Kelce. The difference of that game was getting Chris Jones back. Yeah. Some of you didn't know who he was, but number 95 is Chris Jones, and he is, I think, the best defensive player in the league. 15 and a half sacks last year. He dominates he only played half snaps. He's on a pitch count. He only played half the defensive snaps. Still sacked the quarterback, batted down passes, pressured the quarterback, and destroyed their running game. When he was in there, the Chiefs gave up 2.5 yards less yards than when he was not in there. Chicago, don't know how much longer they're going to go with Fields. He's the lowest rated quarterback in the NFL. They spent all this money on DJ Moore and bringing him in, drafted a great tight end. They brought him receivers. They've given him tools, but he doesn't make the right decisions. You can't teach that. I mean, the kid's going to make the right decisions or not. I mean, there's some things you can teach in the NFL, but I don't think you can improve people's brains.
We got a comment from Paul Levesque. Guys, NFL games are not safe anymore. A Patriots fan died from a Dolphin fan getting in an altercation and a fight.
Yeah, it was a big fight in the stands.
Well, that's a shame. And there have been a couple of shootings at football stadiums, high school stadiums and won.
Yeah, and then there was one even in baseball with the White Sox stadium.
We had a high school game stopped about 3 miles from me Friday night in the middle of the first quarter because of gunshot.
Wow.
Craziness.
The Bears have lost 12 straight games since they gave away their defense last year, and it's going to be 13 after this week. One thing I do like about the Bears is that we were talking about this before they drafted Tyson Badgett, the quarterback from Shepherd University from the small school.
Right.
I think there's going to be a big score in this game, not in Chicago's favor. So maybe Badgett will get a chance to get the game. I'm picking Kansas City.
Oh, no, Paul, you're fine.
Keith?
No, you're fine, Paul.
Um,
In fact, Paul, if you ever want to join us, all you have to do is give us an email address.
Yeah.
If you got a, if you.
No, appreciate it, Paul.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
You're welcome to comment as much as you want. Hey, boy, I think this would be a bigger upset, the Bears winning this one, than the Giants winning out in San Francisco, to be honest with you. This could actually be fun bad type of a game here. Chiefs might win they might score in the 50s if the Bears play like they have been. Bears have to show a lot of improvement to have any chance of being respectable in this one. I haven't picked any final scores, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs win this game like 51-10.
If you're picking against the line, which we don't do here, we do straight up. But last year when the Chiefs rolled up the scores, it was almost always on the road. Their home games, I think they didn't cover quite a bit last year at home.
Paul says 50-3 Chiefs.
They're like something like 2-8 or something covering. But in like their San Francisco game, the Arizona game where they ran up high scores, those were on the road last year. Rob?
How much longer is the Bears coach going to be there? I mean, really,
He could do a new coach every single season. I mean, for Eberflus, but
they can go through quarterbacks. They go through quarterbacks.
They go through.
They need a new quarterback right now. I'm telling you, release him, sign me. I can hand the ball off to anybody you want to all the time, and then get out to wait. I'll be like 100 times cheaper.
Hey, for that paycheck, wouldn't you take it for a week?
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, if you could get rid of him and save the money, you could get me for 100 times cheaper, and I won't say a word. I'll hand the ball off every down. I won't throw a single interception. Promise.
Just let us know what funeral home your body's going to be at, though.
Right. 44-14. The Bears find a way to get in the end zone twice, and that's going to be the luckiest thing of all. 30-point win. That's a crush.
One way to get in the end zone is going to be on a punt return, and the other one's going to be a fumble. That's it. Now I do have a solution for the Bears at quarterback. Well, I got a solution for them, a head coach first. Bring Mike Ditka back. You won't put up with that bullshit, okay? And then what Chicago needs to do is contact a local high school where they're going to play at that week and pay their quarterback to run that game. You're going to get better than what you're getting out of Fields. I mean, Christ. I mean, he don't know how to read a defense. He wants to fucking run. He's going to kill himself. Kansas City, 44-0
Kansas City's defense has been playing.
Well, he picked them to win by more points than I did.
and 74 on the Chiefs has killed most fantasy owners, and they don't even draft linemen.
All right, Harris, how many passing yards for the two quarterbacks in this game?
440, and 30 of them will be by 30 of them will be by Fields. 410 and 30.
Maybe about 390 total. But,
Next game, the Dallas Cowboys, Roger Staubach, and Milgrade of the Cardinals, Arizona. Who's first?
No, I am. I can think on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, after that second, see, I was starting to think, hey, maybe the Cardinals are a team that can actually fight their way through some games this year. They gave Washington a decent game. They were looked like they were going to blow the Giants out, and then all of a sudden reality hit, and the Cardinals showed who they really are. And Dallas has been playing a rather impeccable style of football so far this year. There's really not much you can argue with against them. Cowboys should win this. I mean, maybe they call off the dogs in the second half, but I don't know. I kind of think this is probably close to a 20-point win for Dallas.
Rob?
I don't know when Murray is going to come back, but when he does, I think he's going to take even another step back. Defense pretty good for 2 quarters, and then man, oh man, I think he took a nap. Rip Van Winkle second half. I think this is one time Arizona will actually play up to their competition. They can't beat them, of course they can't, but I think they're going to play them tight. 30-20 Dallas.
Harris?
Well, I'm taking Dallas. I don't know how close this game's going to be, but yeah, it's going to stay with the trend. Dallas 2-0 now. Arizona 0-2. It's going to be the same way when they come out of it. Dallas big.
All right, right now the media is heavily on the Dallas Cowboys. They're thinking that the Cowboys are the best team in the NFL and they're going to win the Super Bowl, and that Micah Parsons is the best football player on the planet. Micah Parsons played against 2 weak offensive lines. The Giants, where Neal has been a disappointment at right tackle, and he played the Jets offensive line. So, of course, he's getting some stats. I'm kind of holding my breath on the Cowboys. I want to see how they deal with the NFL's bullies when they play their 2 Eagle games, when they play San Francisco. 2 years ago, they played the Chiefs, and Michael Parsons was nowhere to be found. That offensive line took care of him. So we'll see. I think if the Chiefs played Dallas now, Dallas will probably win because of the issues the Chiefs have going on right now. But I'm still kind of holding my breath on the Dallas Cowboys. Not this week. They'll beat Arizona. People say teams tank, but players don't. Arizona has definitely tanked, but the players have not tanked, and they're making an effort. Josh Dobbs is 69%, 360 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. They got a linebacker they never heard of before. Dennis Gardner's got 3 sacks and 3 tackles for losses from Bullock College called Sioux Falls. And Carter's playing okay. He's 168 yards, 4.5 average. So the Cardinals are definitely giving it the effort. You can't cite them for that. But Dallas has too much.
Paul says Cardinals need Caleb Williams.
Yeah, but Caleb Williams has already said he might not go to Arizona. He might stay another year.
Picks the Cowboys 30-24. That's closer than what I think it'll be. And not too impressed with the Giants coach, it looks like.
All right, Las Vegas, John Madden and Jack Lambert, vintage for Pittsburgh.
Rob, I think it's your turn.
Yeah. Hey, before last night, I was up in the air big time with this game. After last night, not as much. Pittsburgh is the top 5 to 8 defense in the NFL, and the Raiders don't. They just don't. We're going to see how good Garoppolo can read a defense when they play in Pittsburgh. Now, they're playing in Vegas, right?
Yes.
So I do think Pittsburgh it's going to be a squeaker here. If they were playing at home, I'd give them 8-10 points. Squeaker here in Vegas. I think it's going to be, if you're in Las Vegas, this is a great game to go watch. 21-17 Pittsburgh.
Yes.
I agree with you. It's going to be a tight game. Score's going to be somewhere around 21-17, 20-14, something like that. I'm going to give the difference to the Raiders because they are at home and Pittsburgh's coming off a short week.
So you got Vegas.
I got Vegas.
Well, Pittsburgh, they brought their 3 defensive superstars, Highsmith, Mika Fitzpatrick, and T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt got his first touchdown in his NFL career. It's number 90 running with the ball there. And It was Highsmith that knocked the ball loose. Pittsburgh's defense bailed him out. Pickens is struggling. He's going to throw some interceptions, but he did have the bomb. He's got a good arm. I'm not sure Najee Harris is better than their backup. That Warren guy was looking more explosive than Najee Harris to me. And one cool thing about last night, T.J. Watt got his all-time sacks leader sack last night, so he has the most sacks of any Steeler in history. I think Pittsburgh's problem is their offensive line is about the worst in the NFL. The right tackle, Okafor, he's just undersized. He was playing guard earlier in his career, but now they moved him to right tackle. He's too small. He gets pushed. This goes on year after year. We've been talking about the Steelers' offensive line, I think, for about 3 years, and they don't do anything about it. So I don't know when they're going to finally move, but they haven't yet. Keith, I'm picking Pittsburgh. Vegas just don't have a defense. I thought Tyree Wilson helped, but he hasn't showed up yet. Crosby's still there, but not enough on defense there. Keith?
Yeah, I kind of like the scores, kind of similar in that range that Rob and Harris had. I guess that running back you're talking about was Jalen Warren, is that right?
Yeah.
Second year out of Oklahoma State or something?
Yeah.
Anyway, when I look at this game, though, as far as who I'm going to pick, I just go with the coach I'm more confident with, and that's the Steelers coach. I'm McDaniel. I don't know what to expect from him. He might be fired again here before too long if things don't straighten out. Steelers find a way to sneak one out here.
All right, next game is the 2 Monday night games. What do you think about that? Two games on Monday night? I'm good with it. I could have them on both TVs, watch them at the same time.
I wish the second game would start about an hour later.
It did.
Yeah, when you have two of them, I wish one.
Yeah, one starts
2 hours.
Another hour, 2 hours
Yeah,
total.
Or 2 hours.
2 hour start time gap.
Yeah.
All right, the first Monday night game is the Eagles at Tampa Bay. Leroy Selman, Eagles 1956 team card. I think Harris, you're first.
Yep.
Yeah, I will be at this game. Matter of fact, I'm working this game Monday night.
Okay.
So, and I'll have plenty of time to watch it because I'm working as a supervisor, so I can go anywhere in the stadium I want except for the locker rooms. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
This is probably gonna be the best game of the week. You got a battle of 2-0 teams. I'm doing this only because I said I could see them going 16-1 in the regular season, and that is Philadelphia. That's the only reason I'm taking them. I can see them and Dallas both being 16-1 at the end of the regular season.
Splitting head-to-head?
Yep.
All right, the Eagles should be well rested. They are 3-1 against the spread in 2022 on the road. They usually play pretty well on the road. I'm enjoying watching Jason Kelsey play another year. I'm enjoying this whole Kelsey thing. Got to stand next to and walk behind Donna Kelsey at the draft. She was at the draft last summer. Baker Mayfield's making the most of his appearance with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Him and Mike Evans. Evans has got 13 catches for 171 yards. He went off against Chicago. So I'm picking Philadelphia for the same reason you guys are. I just think they're a better team. And those defensive linemen from Georgia, they're starting to come on. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Those are two big guys in the middle of that line that's going to make it hard for Tampa Bay to run. And they can rush the passer. So I see too much pressure on Tampa Bay for them to win this game. Keith?
Well, I don't want to really stick a pin in the balloon for the Buccaneers, but I guess I'm going to. Yeah, they won their 2 games. I think they beat a Minnesota team that I don't really think that much of. And then the Bears, actually, I mean, before that pick 6 down inside their own 5-yard line right there at the end, that game, they were within a field goal of Tampa Bay, I believe. And the Eagles, I think, are going to play a really complete game here. I think you're going to see them play well from minute 1 through minute 60. And I don't know that it'll be absolutely dominated, but I think they're going to play good, solid football all the way through on every facet of the game. Eagles will probably win by about 20.
Rob?
Yeah, I like the Eagles here, but I don't like them by that much. I think I actually nobody's even mentioned much about Tampa's defense. Tampa's defense is playing really, really well right now. They're the ones keeping them in the game. Mayfield, they're gonna go as far as Mayfield takes them, and he just is. This is 1 week. All 4 tires go flat. Philly wins this game, 29-16. Probably Baker Mayfield probably throws 3 picks, but I think Hurts will throw 1 or 2. So we'll see what happens.
We're all good with Philadelphia in this game. Our final game on Monday night are the Rams at the Cincinnati Bengals.
The Bengals are wearing the all whites this weekend.
Yeah, Cincinnati's wearing all whites. I don't have that helmet. Don't know how to make it. And then I got Deacon Jones and Ken Anderson, former quarterback for the Bengals a long time ago.
Now, where are they playing this game?
This game's at Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who goes first?
You do.
Keith.
No, I think it's Brian.
I think maybe it's me.
Okay, Brian's turn. That's right.
We've not been talking yet about Puka Nacua. Who are these guys? Puka Nacua. He's got 25 catches, 266 yards. He's on pace for a rookie record to start his career. And then Tutu Atwell's got 196 yards in the first couple of games with 13 catches. The Rams did they waive Cam Akers?
Do what?
Did they waive Cam Akers?
I have not heard. I have not heard.
I will check.
I think they might have. He's only averaging 1.3 yards per carry. And we talked about that last year. Cam Akers, sometimes he just does not show up with any effort.
No, they're looking to trade him. They're holding on to him.
Oh, they're looking to trade him. Okay.
Yeah, and then Giants and Bios interested. Isn't that something?
Yeah, I would not be. I mean, he had 3 100-yard games in his last 4 games last year, but the previous 12, he put forth no effort. I mean, I watched a couple of games and he was not even trying. The Bengals, I think their season Raiders News Las Vegas reportedly interested in trading for Cam Akers. I do not know.
Yeah, them too. Yep.
Yeah.
Baltimore's also reached out to him about Akers.
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll put some effort if he gets a change of scenery, but he is apparently done in Los Angeles. Cincinnati Bengals are 0-2, and yes, I know they were 0-2 last year, and they went, they put it back together. But Burrow's was grabbing his calf again last week, about 3 or 4 minutes before the game ended, and this could be season long. This is a problem. And then the next thing, if you got a calf injury you're dealing with, the next thing could be your Achilles tendon. So I don't know. They got offensive line problems. They had to replace the 2 safeties on defense. The Bengals have got some problems. I'm picking the upset here. I'm picking the Rams.
I'm right there with you, Brian. I'm going with the Rams here because I think the Bengals might be out there with Jake Browning at quarterback, rookie out of Washington, and he might be saying, "Oh my God," a few times, just like to Aaron Donald being in his face. The Rams, I mean, they gave the 49ers a tough fight, and they played up in Seattle, and the place that's really tough to play up there, and they made that well, they won that game. And Bengals, even if Burrow's playing, offense just has been kind of sputtering. I don't know if it's limiting Burrow's ability to connect with his receivers with a calf injury. I kind of think it is. I just don't see the Bengals being ready to win this game, and I think the Rams, at least have shown enough heart so far that I'll stick with them or go with them this week.
Rob?
Yeah. As late as 9, 10 o'clock this morning, they're talking about shutting Burrow down possibly for as much as a month. We know what can happen if you don't shut him down for a month. He cannot, he's not going to get this team into the playoffs. If you shut him down for a month and you put a backup in and you go 1-3, and then you come back and you'd be 1-5 then when you come back, you got a chance. But if you keep playing and you win here, lose here, win here, lose here, I just don't see how that does anything good for Burrow here. He's the highest paid player in the NFL. Sit him down. I don't think they will. I think they're going to play him, and like Keith says, he's going to be running for his friggin' life in this game. That offensive line is not good, and that's the one strength the Rams really have is defensive line. 20-13. I don't even consider it an upset. I think the Rams should be favored to win this ball game. 20-13. I'll take them.
Harris?
These two teams, at least in my eyes, are the biggest disappointment since they played in the Super Bowl together. You figure they both get there. They're all the way up here, and now they're just steadily dropping. The other thing is, I said last week, teams improve the most from the first to the second week. Okay? Well, it looks like they can get even worse from week 1 to week 2. How bad are they going to go week 2 to week 3? I mean, this game's tough to pick because they're both horrible right now, the way they're playing. I'm going to take Cincinnati only because they're at home.
I don't know. I wouldn't say the Rams are playing horrible. I mean, they hung with San Francisco pretty
Cincinnati,
good.
with the Burrow injury, it's almost like they need to change their offense on the fly.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to do. Joe Burrow, let's say he may be the highest paid quarterback, but over the next 4 years, Patrick Mahomes is. The Chiefs just reworked his quarterback.
How do you only have
today?
If you're the Bengals, so how do you only have a rookie as a backup to Joe Burrow? With all the skill position talent that team has, how is it you go into a season with a rookie as a backup to him? Every team loses their quarterback pretty much in the NFL for a little while.
Right.
During the season. You're lucky if you don't.
Yep.
So how do you do that?
You're right. Out of 32 teams, probably 22 teams are going to have to play a backup somewhere along the way somewhere.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're a team that doesn't have any expectations, okay, maybe you do that. You got your rookie out there or something, and you don't really worry about it. But if you're a playoff contender, if you're a team that's expecting to be –
this team's one that's closing and closing quicker because if Burrow starts getting where he can't move, man, that's been part of his game is being able to elude pressure. And if he can't do that, that's a big, that's a big negative for the Bengals.
Well, Chad, our backup quarterback for the last couple of years, Chad Henne, saved our bacon twice in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you need a backup quarterback.
Uh-huh.
All right, that concludes our pro part of our show. Let's do
and Paul, make sure you convince your Steelers, since you're a Steelers fan, that they hang on to their coach, because Rob and I are going to be campaigning hard for Washington to sign him.
We're gonna make a trip to Washington D.C. to get our coach fired, and not only that, see if we can get a limo to bring from Pittsburgh to Washington for coach. We want him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One of these teams, just to segue into the colleges, I think one of these teams, the Chargers, or maybe Washington, sooner or later they're going to be starting looking at Deion Sanders.
They might.
Think so?
Yeah, they might. I could see Deion Sanders going to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And playing so far.
Just how soon though? Would he go as early as next year? I just don't know.
He would wait till his kids graduate.
I
I
would
don't know if he translates to the NFL. I kind of see him fitting as in the college game, but
I think he wants to eventually get to the NFL.
yeah, I don't.
You see, that'll be his downfall though, because you can't bring players from one team to the other like you do now and get them to all come your way like you can in college. Yeah, you can't make a roster just like that.
Well, it's a whole different game as far as motivating your team and getting them.
Yeah. Right. You
winning the locker room. It's a whole different animal.
I'm with you.
Let's take a few minutes and talk about the top 10 college games. Last week, I was 9-0, picking the top 10. Keith was 9-0. Harris was 8-1. Rob was 8-1. And then a friend of the channel, Bruce fan, was 9-0. And I'll take these games in order that they're played. First one at 11 o'clock on Saturday.
But Brian, real quick, I'm sorry about interrupting you. I'll give Rob credit though. He picked South Florida, I think, was his upset.
Yes.
To get that close, for that game to be that close, I almost want to give him credit for that. And then Harris, you took Bowling Green or something, didn't you?
No,
I took Michigan State.
Right, he took Michigan State against
Washington. Show up.
Yeah, Washington really chopped their legs out.
35-0 at halftime.
Yeah, that was not
okay.
good.
You don't get any credit for that here.
And hey, at least give credit that the firing of Michigan State coach.
That was that happened before last week's game though.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, he's still there. They've only told him
he hasn't left yet.
They only told him, and I don't get this. They only told him they're fixing to fire him, that they had not actually fired him.
Oh, they hadn't fired him yet?
No.
He's gonna get it.
All right, our first game is on the Big Ten Network. That's Rutgers at Michigan, 11 o'clock Saturday. What's the tackle?
That's not Delaware? I guess Delaware's not in the top 10.
That's at games at Michigan.
Yeah, I'll go with the team that resides in the Big House, Michigan.
Okay, Harris?
Michigan.
And Rob?
Michigan by 40.
I picked Michigan too. Both teams. Rutgers is not chopped liver. They're both.
They won big this past weekend against somebody.
They play defense. Both are holding the opposing run games to 2.5 yards per carry. Rutgers' defense is 7th out of 133 teams, but Michigan's is number 1 out of 133 teams. J.J. McCarthy is really sharp. He's had 82% of his passes. He has thrown a few interceptions, but Michigan should win this one. But it could be it might be a game. This next one is at 11 o'clock on ABC. And that's Florida State at Clemson. And I forgot to get my Clemson helmet out. Anyway, there's Florida State. I can get Clemson.
Rob, you go for this one.
I like Florida State in this one, but I tell you one thing. They
Illinois.
Huh?
You got Illinois out.
That's the wrong one.
That's who Florida State wants to play.
Yeah.
They want Illinois. Well,
Bielema.
they'll go to Clemson and play Illinois any day of the week. Illinois. Clemson's going to keep the ball game close for a little bit. But, man, can they score? They just having so many problems. Florida State's having problems stopping the run, though. And for that reason, and that reason alone, I think it's going to be a really, really, really good game. I think it's going to be a last-second field goal, 33-30, Florida State.
Yes.
I went with them last week. I'm going to go with them again this week. Florida State.
Okay. Well, I was really on Florida State's bandwagon the first 2 weeks of the season, but as Rob pointed out, they're having trouble stopping the run, and their defense at Florida State is like 64. That's like middle of the road. on defense. They got some big guys. Dennis Briggs Jr., defensive line's got 2 tackles for losses, 2 sacks. But I think the key to Florida State is their quarterback, Jordan Travis. He's poised. He led them in a comeback last week. And I think he's way better than Clemson's quarterback, Klubnik. And I think Florida State will get pressure on Clemson. So I'm picking Florida State as well.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about Boston College giving Florida State a good game. That maybe they're not.
Especially it's tough.
Maybe they're not as good as they look early
quarter.
on.
Then by that time.
But yeah, I'm not real confident with Clemson either. So I'll go with Florida State. I think they are probably a little bit better team than Clemson is this year.
Okay. 2:30 Saturday, Colorado is at Oregon. And I didn't do a very good job. I got to get my helmets. You guys start talking about it?
Go for it.
This is Colorado and Oregon.
Yeah.
Colorado is a 20.5-point underdog in this game.
Yes.
Wow.
They don't have Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Right. Their number one receiver is out.
Okay.
And did you guys hear what happened last night with the kid that hit him and hurt him?
No.
Death threat.
Yeah, he got a death threat.
Death threats, and then what's his name came out today and said something about injuries happen. They're part of the game. Do not do anything to this kid. Please don't. I pray to God.
Who's that, Dion?
Dion came out and support of him. Yep. So
okay, good.
Big ups for him. Big ups for Dion on that one. Yeah.
But in general, I watched that game, and I thought Colorado State was a dirty football team.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that hit.
You knew that was going to be like that, just the trash talking that the head coach put on before the game.
Yeah.
And when Dion went out on the TV set, he told them, we'll do our talking on the field. Yeah. And they did. Even though Deion Sanders don't know the rules for overtime in college.
No.
Donovan McNabb, anybody? He doesn't know him in the pros.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. If that kid was playing this week, I'd probably take Colorado. But with him out, that's too big of a blow to the offense. Give me Oregon.
Okay. Yeah, they don't have Travis Hunter, but they still have a ton of speed at wide receiver. Weaver is fast. It's actually their leading receiver now. Xavier Weaver has got 386 yards, 25 catches in 3 games. So he's getting like 130 yards every game. Travis Hunter, they didn't announce what his injury was. I think it was a lacerated liver, and I think he'll be out about 3 to 4 weeks. So that's a blow, definitely, for Colorado. Colorado just does not have enough on the offensive and defensive line to stand up to Oregon. I think that we said at the beginning of the year that this will be their come to Jesus moment. I think Oregon, they're favored by 20.5 points.
20.5 right now.
Yeah, 20 and a half.
It's went up too. Sunday was 19.5 Sunday.
I think Oregon will cover that. Bo Nix is 78%, 893 yards passing, 8 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He's been solid at quarterback for Oregon. Throwing to Troy Franklin. They got a transfer from Ole Miss named Tysheen Johnson, a defensive back who leads their defense. Oregon's going to be a little too good for Colorado. I think the storybook fairy tale inning ends here.
Yeah, I think Colorado's big problem is going to be coming up against teams that have real good talent and strength and size on the lines, and I think Oregon's probably going to be one of those teams. Colorado has some good speed all around, and they've got good skill position players. But other teams do too. Some of the better teams do too. And I just think Oregon in the trenches is going to be a overwhelming favorite in this game, and they'll find a way to beat Colorado. I'll probably cover that spread.
Rob?
I don't see it. I really don't. And 19 and a half, I didn't have them covering that. I still don't think they are. They might win by double digits at best. Oregon's been having problems running the football when they want to run it. They've had to throw it a lot. They've had to throw the football. And Colorado's fast in the defensive backfield, too. They really do have some guys. They ball hogs, too. I think Nick's going to throw a couple of picks in this ball game, maybe even a pick six, closer than it should be. 35-26, Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon has really not played the level of competition that Colorado has. They had one minor college. They played Hawaii, who's not very good. And the Texas Tech is decent, but that's the only team they played that's decent.
Right.
Harris?
He's already started.
Oh, okay. And you're on Oregon, okay.
Yeah, I took Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay, the next game, that's a 2:30 Saturday game. And the next games are at 6:30 Saturday. UAB at Georgia. Alabama Brian at Georgia.
How is it this late in the season they're playing somebody like UAB?
That's
South Florida
time, right, Brian?
That's South Florida, the Bulls right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do very good.
Brian,
He's got a dragon or something, don't they?
Yeah, UAB's the Dragons.
Yeah. I got a dragon here somewhere.
There's a gold helmet, I think, but I think they got a dragon on it.
Yeah, it is kind of a goldish, yellowish color.
Oh, Michael's saying you didn't get his invite.
Yeah, I still need to find the rest of the other conferences.
Michael, you didn't get your
What's up,
invite?
Mr. Mikey?
I thought I saw it. It was yesterday. He sent it yesterday.
What's that?
Look in your email for
Oh,
yesterday.
the link? Yeah, it was sent yesterday about 5:30 or so. My time.
Who's up with UAB Georgia? I think
Brian.
Brian is.
Okay, this is not a game. Head coach is Trent Dilfer for UAB.
I didn't know that. That was
They're 1-2. They played Georgia Southern. They played Louisiana, and they played a minor college. They beat the
I
minor
think
college.
Michael found it.
Let's see. Yeah, Michael, you're welcome. Come on if you
Yeah, always look for a day or two beforehand there, Michael.
find that.
Actually, it was 1:30 yesterday Eastern time.
Yeah, he sends it Sunday or Monday.
UAB does have a quarterback, Jacob Zeno, 80% for 956 yards. They don't run the ball much. And so they probably will not be able to run the ball at all against Georgia. Georgia's got a tight end that's NFL caliber, 13 catches, 135 yards. That's Brock Bowers. Carson Beck's doing okay, and I think eventually he may end up being as good as Stetson Bennett. 74%, 846 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Their defense, they still lead the way. They've got the most tackles for losses than probably any other NCAA team. It's hard to move that defense. I'm picking Georgia. This is an easy game.
What's the line on it?
It is, I've got it here, 41.5.
Okay.
Yeah. I had it.
I think I'll score the 40.
But all they got to do is score about 10 points.
Did Deshaun get punished yet?
He is not getting punished. They said the league considered that push from the official as basically a nothing. Incidental contact, they called it.
Still, his attitude is not great.
I thought he should have been ejected.
2 face mask penalties he had, 2 personal fouls, and then that referee thing.
Rob, go tell us why UAB is going to win this week.
I'll just write down Georgia.
70-10. 70 burger.
So they're mad, they're that mad about their game against South Carolina.
Every point above 70, they should give free tacos to the fans for sitting there watching this garbage. 70-10.
Yes.
The only way UAB can get to say in this game is if they were playing the game on this board. That's it. It's the only way.
Is that electric football?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Georgia by 55.
I said 60, but that's all right.
Okay, I think we've all picked Georgia.
You're correct, Ben. The people sending it's anybody that sends death threats to
It
an
is.
athlete or
It's
something.
sad.
That's terrible.
You're
I hope
right.
they catch whoever it was
Right.
and punish them.
Right.
All right, the next game is Texas at Baylor. That's 6:30 Saturday on ABC.
Oh, okay. I get that one. Longhorns. Don't really know a whole lot about Baylor. I think they beat somebody this year, some decent team, but
They beat a minor team. They lost to Texas State and they lost to Utah.
oh, they lost to Utah.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyway, that just makes it easier. Texas.
Rob?
Closer than people want to give it credit for. It's being played at Baylor. Baylor is a very tough place to play. They got some of the worst turf in college football. Texas 27, Baylor 16, and a late touchdown spreads it out from being a good game. Texas will be happy to get out of there.
Harris?
Texas will not cover the spread in this game. No chance. If it was in Texas, absolutely, I'd see a rout. But with that Baylor crowd, whoever scores last wins this game. That's what I'm going to say. Last score wins this game, and at this point, it's going to be the Horns.
Well, they might score last and it'd be 40-7 or something.
Well, look, I said whoever scores last.
Baylor hasn't beat anybody, and Baylor's 1-2. Texas has beat Rice, Alabama, and Wyoming. Alabama's still decent, and Wyoming is kind of decent. Texas is very stout on defense up the middle. They got this guy, Devondre Sweat, 6'4", 340 pounds, 2.5 tackles for a loss and a sack. He's going to be an NFL defensive tackle somewhere. Ewers is playing well. He's got 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. Texas offense is 49th in the country. Their defense is 29th. I got Texas all the way in this game.
Do you think Arch Manning transfers from Texas?
Yes.
You do?
Ole Miss waiting on him next year because Ole Miss's quarterback is a senior. Fits very well for him. Arch Manning he's gonna get redshirted this year. I think he's gonna have 4 years of eligibility at Ole Miss. Yes, I think
the coach. I always forget his name there. You think that's a good fit for a good guy for him to be?
Oh, you talk Ole Miss's coach?
Yeah.
What's his name?
His dad was the Buccaneers.
Is that Lane Kiffin?
Yeah, Lane Kiffin. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect for him because he's an offensive coach. I think it works out perfect for him all the way around. I actually think Ole Miss might be a better team next year than Texas this year. Texas is losing a lot. They're gonna lose 6 players on offense, not counting the quarterback. So, yeah, they're gonna be a better team than Ole Miss next year.
And that's 6 you said. That's not even counting their high profile situational players either.
6 on offense. 6 on offense is 3 linemen, a wide receiver, and a
right. But you're just talking starters. You're just talking starters.
I'm not even counting the quarterback that's going to be leaving. Yeah,
you're not even talking. You're just talking starters. I'm talking guys that are in the rotation.
Right, and they I'm sure it's going to be a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, Texas has got a backup quarterback that's real tall. Murphy, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The next game is Ohio State and Notre Dame. This is at South Bend.
Go for it, Rob.
Me?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what. I think this is going to be the game of the week.
Yeah, me too.
Ohio State has not proven anything to me yet. Harrison, if you're playing in Notre Dame, they're going to let that grass grow. You could better believe they're going to try to make him plod down the field. There's a chance of some rain this weekend too. That also plays a part in this deal. I think it's going to be a muddy battle. 34-33 Notre Dame.
Ohio State's favored by 3.
I like Notre Dame all the way in this game.
Gotcha. Harris?
Well, let's face it, the loser of this game, playoff hopes are basically done. So this is basically a week 4 playoff game for NCAA. And there's no saying either of these teams even get in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here, I'm looking at back and forth. Ohio State's favorite by what?
3.
3.
Playing in Notre Dame.
Give me the Irish.
Irish.
That's a tough call. It's a tough game.
Should be a good game.
Both
Really be a good game.
Yeah, both teams are 3-0, but I think Notre Dame's competition has been a little better. They beat Navy, North Carolina State, and Central Michigan, whereas Ohio State's had Indiana, Western Kentucky in a minor school. Notre Dame is rolling up the points, and that quarterback transfer they got is definitely, I think, a Heisman candidate.
Sam Hartman. I think right now he's probably in line, number 1 probably in line for the Heisman right now.
Yeah, he's 71%, 1,061 yards, 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Yep.
He's rolling. Those kids, those Notre Dame kids, they love their coach. I love their left tackle. I've been talking about him all year, John Alt. I think he's one of him and the Penn State tackle, Fashanu, I think are the 2 best offensive linemen in the NCAA this year. And I love watching Notre Dame, just watching John Alt play. I like watching that. I am taking the Irish. Keith?
I'm going to make it a sweep then. Ohio State might be the most overrated school this year in college football. I just don't see the passing game, even with Harrison Jr., is it their wide receiver?
Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Ohio State is as good as they've been in the last couple of years.
They kind of forgot about him the first week, but since then he's got 14 catches, 304 yards.
Yeah. I just think Notre Dame is looking like a better team than them right now. I'm going to go with Notre Dame.
We were all on Notre Dame. The last 6:30.
I'll go ahead and pick them to win by about 6 or 7 points.
It's too bad they got all these games at the same time. One's on
I know.
NBC, and then this one's on
Yeah.
CBS. Iowa is at Penn State. Penn State's rated number 7.
Harris?
Hmm?
You're first.
Yeah, I know. At Penn State, 14.5 point favorite. We'll go with the upset.
Iowa.
The Hawkeyes.
Don't ask me why. I just got a gut feeling.
Okay.
They usually have the best defense in the NCAA. I mean, they know, and they have tight ends.
Are they playing in Happy Valley?
At Penn State, yes.
It's a whiteout. It's a whiteout game in Happy Valley.
All right, gotcha.
That's what made it a tough call.
I got you.
Okay.
Homecoming too, isn't it?
Iowa has played Utah State, Iowa State, and Western Michigan. They're 3-0. Penn State's played West Virginia and Illinois in the minor school. So I think Iowa's had a little bit better competition. I just have a hard time watching Iowa play. They have the most dull offense. I've never. I mean, I've tried to watch them because I love their defense. They graduated Jack Campbell to the Lions, and he's going to be a stud linebacker for Detroit. Then tight end they sent to the NFL last year. He's going to be good, and they got another good tight end, Jay Higgins. No, not Jay Higgins. Luke Lackey. Luke Lackey's got he's 6'6", 250. 10 catches for 131 yards. So they just turned out tight ends. George Kittle, they've got them, but their offense is dull. I like their coach, Hayden Fry. Their coach, there's a guy named Colbert who played at my high school that I follow, and when he recruited Colbert, he came and told him, he says, "I got to be honest with you. If you sign with me, I'm gonna be right back out here on this recruiting trail trying to find somebody who's bigger and faster than you to take your job." And Colbert liked that. He liked the challenge, and he went there. He was a safety at Bishop Miege, and they moved him to linebacker. He started as a freshman, and he played 4 years there. He was number 32. He had a great career at Iowa. So I like their coach. I just wish they had come up with some kind of an offense. Penn State, They got an offense. Drew Allure, 67%, 736 yards, 4 touchdowns. We got a defense too, led by Curtis Jacobs and Dominic DeLuca and Abdul Carter on the defense. And then that offensive tackle I talked about, Fashano, is that Olu Fashahanu. He's a junior. He may come out though, because he's ready for the NFL probably. I am picking Penn State. Keith?
Yeah, the thing with Iowa, I mean, they'd have to keep, I think, Penn State to 17 points or less to have a chance to win. And I don't, up there in Happy Valley, I don't see that happening. I'll go with the Penn State to win this one.
Rob?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. They have to hold them to 17. They can't do it. Penn State 20, Iowa 10, and a very, very boring game. Yeah.
Now the late games on Saturday at 9:30 on Fox. Number 5 USC goes to Arizona State. Who's first on this one?
You.
Okay, SC is 3-0. Arizona State's 1-2. Arizona's played Oklahoma State and Fresno State. They got the youngest coach in the NCAA. His name is Mike Norvell. He's only 33 years old. I don't know if he's related to Jay Norvell, the Colorado State coach. I kind of think they might be related, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Yeah.
You play to win the game. Oh, he got fired. Never mind.
USC 66-3, huh?
The quarterback is Jaden Rashada. Not very good, 57%, 403 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. SC is kind of starting to put together on defense. They've got Solomon Byrd. He's got 4.5 tackles for a loss, 2.5 sacks. Now their speed, I think only Colorado has USC type speed on offense. And they've got speed on offense. And of course, they got Caleb Williams, who is off to another terrific start, 79%, 878 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. So Caleb Williams and that quarterback you were talking about, Rob, and Penix, they're all off to great starts, all three of them. I'm picking USC, although, well, I don't think this will be a game. I'm picking USC. Keith?
Yeah, I don't see this being very close. I think USC is going to score a lot. Can't really say I know much about Arizona State, but they haven't really been that good of a program. USC, their offense can probably overwhelm Arizona State in this one. Go with the Trojans.
Trojans are favored by 34.
Yeah.
Rob?
Ben, you're close, man. I like his 66, but USC the last time they didn't give up double digits, it's been about 20-some years, I think. They're going to give some points up. They're going to do that. But if you give 48 points, you're going to win. 66-17 USC.
Harris?
This is one of them games that if you debate watching the game or going to sleep, Go to sleep.
Yeah.
USC.
All right, our last game in the top 10.
What if we do a shot every time USC puts some points on the board?
You would be drunk by the end of the first quarter.
You lie. What does Middleton say? You were actually legally dead because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you're
0.35.
0.4, yeah. I mean,
right. You'll be that by the third quarter if he scores 60.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
Lord.
All right, the last 9:30 game is Cal at Washington. That's on ESPN. Washington is rated number 8.
It's Washington and who?
California.
You know,
Oh.
Cal has been putting some points on the board this year, but I think Washington's one of my top 5, so I'm not going against them. Washington wins this game decidedly.
Yeah. Washington right now, next to Notre Dame, Georgia, Texas, and maybe USC. They are up there. And I actually like Washington better than what I see out of USC so far.
Yeah, you too.
This team is capable of making it to the playoffs. They're that good.
Mm-hmm.
45-10. And that might be nice to California. 45-10 Washington.
Washington.
I went against them last week. I'm not going against them this week. Washington.
I think it may be a decent game. California's 2-1. They only lost to Auburn by 4 points. They lost 10-14 to Auburn. And the other major college team they played was North Texas. Not much competition there, though. Like you said, Cal is in the top third in offense, and they're in the top third of the NCAA on defense as well. The one thing I don't like about Cal is they play 2 quarterbacks. Isaiah Ifance and Jaden Ott. And like they say, if you play 2 or 3 quarterbacks, you ain't got no quarterbacks.
Yeah, Tom Landry tried that for a while back in the day, and
yeah, I think you really have to settle on one. And
yeah, I agree.
Go with it. But Ott's got 2
Unless it's Justin Fields.
They also go. They do have 2 good running backs they go with. Jaden Ott, he's got 268 yards with 6.7 average, so he must be able to run block. And Isaiah Ifance, 206 yards, 5.7. So he must have a really good run blocking offensive line. But Washington is stout. They can stand up to other teams. So I think Washington will stand up. I think Washington will win this game. They beat Boise State, they beat Tulsa, and they beat Michigan State last week. So they've had some challenges, and they're passing all these tests. And Michael Penix Jr., I say it every week, he's kind of not talked about much in the media, but he led the NCAA in passing last year, and he's very well could do it again this year. That concludes our top 10. Last week was a good week in college football, I thought. I watched that K-State Missouri game. That was outstanding.
Missouri came out and played.
Cooper, that quarterback, was on target. He was good. He played with a sprained ankle halfway through the game. Daniels, KU's quarterback, was outstanding as well. It came down to the end of the game where they were going to have to. They had, I think, 4 seconds left on the clock, and they had a long field goal. And their coach, Terry Drinkwater, made a heck of a mistake. He had the field goal team gathered on the sideline. KU's coach was going crazy on the side, or K-State's coach was going crazy on the sideline. I keep getting KU and K-State mixed up. I watched both games last weekend. But the head coach for Kansas State was just going nuts, getting the referee's attention. And Drinkwater got a delay of game penalty, which made the field goal 61 yards to try to win the game. Right. And Mavis went out there and he nailed it. It would have been like good from 64 yards.
Yeah.
That was quite a ball game.
Through the middle too. It was never a doubt.
No, it was straight on.
Yeah.
In his career, he's been good from 50 yards beyond. He's struggled a little bit close in.
Has anybody got any top 25 upsets this week?
I was just looking at a couple. Maryland's playing at Michigan State this week, and Maryland's 3-0. Michigan State game number 2 with this new coach. They're 2-1. Maryland's a 7.5 point favorite up there. How good is Maryland this year?
Better than Michigan State.
Yeah.
Well, they beat up on a Virginia team that's not very good. They did do that.
And they had Towson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they haven't really played anybody, but
No, they hadn't played a lot yet. But we'll see what happens.
They're still head and shoulders, I think, above Michigan State.
I say Alabama. I'm saying Alabama loses this week.
Harris University is playing at Texas A&M.
Who?
Harris Jessup University.
Harris University, yeah.
Ben Pikus is commenting, is Penix top 3 Heisman candidate so far? Yeah, I think so.
He's got to be because of the way he's throwing the football.
Oh, absolutely.
He's leading the team the way he should be leading the team. Yeah, the only thing hurting him is he's playing out west.
Yeah. Those 9:30 games are tough for people I used to take in.
You don't get a lot of exposure. They're going to have to make that USC game a 5:30 game East Coast time and make it a 2:30 start out west. I don't know if they're going to want to do it, but they're going to have to do that in order to get this kid seen, especially against the USC team. They got to do that. They cannot let them play 9 o'clock at night because if they do, he's not going. Neither one of those guys are going to win the Heisman.
And Ben is asking, who do you think's Michigan State's next coach? So far, Tucker, as far as we know, is still there. Although they've said that they're.
I think Tucker's going to get. I think Tucker will get the axe before it's all said and done. I think an ex-player will come in there and coach. We'll see who it is, but I say an ex-football player will come in there and coach.
Maybe it'll be that offensive Mandrich, Tony Mandrich. Maybe he can come in. Is he still alive? I don't even know.
Maybe he could, I guess.
Number 15, Ole Miss goes to Alabama. Is that anybody going to go with Ole Miss this week?
That's what I said. I think he's going to beat Alabama. Yeah.
You did say that? Okay. Yeah. I was busy looking at my phone. Sorry about that.
And I've only got it at 5.5 right now.
I'm seeing 7 on CBS, but that seems kind of high right now with the way.
Well, I got 5.5, and that was rough.
It says 6.5 right here. I like Ole Miss by a touchdown.
I pulled this off of the thing right before we came on air. It was 5.5.
Yeah, Ben is also big on Penn State, 35-3, and he's big on SC, 66-3. He says he's going to the Colorado USC game, which is in the future.
Oh, did you want to read Tim's picks real quick there?
Tim agreed with us on most of the picks except for he picked the Chargers over Minnesota, and he picked Washington over Buffalo. The rest of them, Cincinnati. Yeah, we had some dispute on LA. Cincinnati, he picked Cincinnati in that game.
Yeah,
so 3 places where he diverged from us. Yeah. All right, any other games we want to talk about?
Do we do a lock this week?
Oh, yes. Let me see. Last week, Keith had San Francisco. That worked. Harris had Dallas. That worked. Rob had Detroit.
Not so good.
Oops.
Whoops.
And I forgot who my lock was. Does anybody remember?
Kansas City, wasn't it?
No. It might have been San Francisco.
I got it written down. I got it. Let's see. Hold on. Bills. You took your Bills?
Yeah, Eagles. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
There's 4 relatively safe locks this week.
Yeah, we don't do our locks on colleges because it's too easy.
Right.
But we do the pros. Who would like to go first?
Let's I've got four. There's four of us. I've got four different games that I'm pretty comfortable with. So
Okay, Rob missed last week, so let's let Rob go first this week.
Chiefs.
okay,
All day the Chiefs.
yeah, the fun bad Bears.
Harris?
San Francisco Thursday night.
Okay, Keith. Oh, I'll go next, I guess. Oh boy, I like Miami over Denver.
All right, well, I'll go with Dallas then. I mean, that's the four games.
Yeah, I was looking at the Dallas game. I said, yeah, I had them last week. I don't want to do it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, Dallas over Arizona.
Yeah.
But someday they're going to come up against a good offensive line, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I do think they're playing according to their plan. Dallas is. They got rid of Kevin O'Connell. They wanted fewer deep throws. They wanted to cut down on. This was from the owner. They wanted Dak to cut down on the interceptions. He hasn't thrown any interceptions yet,
Which he's done.
so it's working. I don't know if they have enough at running back though to run the ball as much as they want to, especially if Pollard gets hurt. They've always had Pollard on a pitch count. So is this going to work all year? We'll see.
I saw somebody this week compare Parsons to Lawrence Taylor, like he was this generation's Lawrence Taylor.
Well, the media is going crazy over Dallas. Skip Bayless, which always does.
Well, they always. I mean, the media loves to do that.
Everybody but Stephen Smith.
Yeah.
Stephen A.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what the
Smith,
A stands
Smith
for,
likes
right?
the Eagles. He's a big Eagles guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now, Michael, look for.
I won't guess, but
Look for my email on Monday. I usually send out the invites on Monday. And Ben, if you want to put your address in the comments, I'll erase it after I get it down. If you would like to join us.
Yeah, through your email out there, Ben. All you need is I'm just using a laptop cam on mine, which I'm capable of throwing other cam.
Yeah,
that's all I'm using on mine right now.
Yeah, click the link and
yeah,
you can use your
we
phone
can have you
or
on here.
laptop.
We can have you on here. Certainly can.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Everybody,
Brian. I
thanks.
appreciate it.
And you can be one of us goobers.
Michael joined us. Ben Pikus.
DJ John 4444. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Paul Leviscu. Also, same applies to you. Thanks for joining us. We can have up to 10 people on the show. It makes it longer, but we get started talking football. I don't. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Appreciate you. Thank you.